Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another episode of Healing is Power. I pray that you guys are doing well out there. You guys have been taking care of yourselves, healing, getting closer with God, and, just being the best version of yourself each and every day. You guys can find Healing is Power on the following platforms: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Tonight, I have a very, very special guest, Miss Jawand. She is a certified life coach and she helps women of color heal and, just deal with, different things in life. So here is Miss Jawand.
Well, hello. How are y'all doing today? I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Jawand, for being on Healing is Power. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no problem. No problem.
Thank you. So, just want to jump right into it. Just kind of tell the audience, who you are. You are a certified life coach. What else do you do? And, who are you as a person?
Who am I as a person?
Yes.
So, as you said, I am a certified life coach. I've been doing this for 7 years now. And I'm in Lafayette. I live in Louisiana, Lafayette, Louisiana. Um,
Mhm.
and I've been doing this, I've been doing this for 7 years. And I absolutely love coaching. I never in throughout my whole career, like it's been a up and down. My career has been a career that's been up and down. Like I've done so many different things, and thinking that was the path I was going to be on. But as far as when coaching came into my life, that's when I realized that this is what I have been meant. This is what I was meant to do all this time.
Mhm.
I do love, like, my whole goal was to help people. I love helping people. Um, but when coaching was, when I was able to, when it fell in, I like to say it fell in my lap. And it was proposed to me by a supervisor of mine. He was like, "Hey, you want to go to coaching school?" And I was like, "Sure." I've always done this, but not. I didn't know how to. I don't want to say express, but how to go about it. So, being
Right.
being a certified coach, it has, not only have I been able to help others, but it's helped me grow as a person and heal from a lot of things, because when starting coaching, you have to take a look inside yourself,
Mhm.
because you have to make sure that you're doing the work, and what you're doing with your client. You want to make sure that you're I don't want to you how do you say it? There's this saying by RuPaul: how are you gonna love somebody else if you can't love yourself?
That's
And,
very true. It
right.
starts. It starts with you.
It starts with you,
Definitely.
yes. And I being able to do that, helps me learn, being in coaching, made me know that, okay, I have to be able to love myself, and I have to do the work. I have to be the best version of myself if I want my clients to be the best version of themselves. So it has helped me a lot. It's helped me realize that, it's helped me set boundaries. It helps me realize that this power has always been inside of me, and that I'm stronger than what I thought I was.
Hmm.
Um, because just being, and sometimes I hate to admit that, but I was always the person wanting to be a people pleaser, wanting
Me
to,
too.
right? So you know what that means, how that feels,
Yes.
to be that
Yes. Oh gosh, that's
pleaser,
like the story of my life. Like,
right?
I just honestly within, I would say the last, I would say 2017 is when I set boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. That, and I can say that's about the same time I started realizing, because that's when I got certified. Is, I have to I had to set those boundaries, because if I
Yeah.
didn't set those boundaries, then I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now because I'm like always, I would always give myself. And if I'm giving myself, I can't do what I need to do or achieve what I need to achieve. Um,
Right.
so going back to the people pleaser, like I was always like my sister would call, she would need something, or my sister would need something. Any of my friends, I would always put myself on the back burner and
Yeah.
realizing I can't do that, and that's what becoming a coach and coaching, becoming a coach and being coached myself, it
Mhm.
helped me be able to be that be who I am today. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. What is let me ask you, what is the most important thing that you like to tell your clients as being a life coach? Like what is most important to you?
Um, the most important thing I always tell my client is that the power is within you. Um, because a lot of people don't realize that they don't they don't think they have it, or they feel like they have to go out and search and find. And I like to say power because that's what's inside of us. That's, I feel like
Yep.
that's what expresses whatever that is. It's our power. And
Mhm.
I always tell my clients it's there. It's always been there. We just got to bring it out. You're not, you are strong. You don't, all of that is there. Because you come in with people that have low confidence, that don't feel like they have the confidence to do anything. I
Mhm.
had one client. I'm working with a few clients on this, and she feels like she's a people pleaser and that she always has to do what her friend says or her best friend says because she doesn't
Mhm.
have the confidence to just be who she is and do what she wants. So I always, always tell her, we it's in there. You just gotta bring it out.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to ask you some questions. Basically, kind of going back to your childhood. I
Okay.
ask all my guests this. Um, kind of like where it all began. What's your story? How have you dealt with healing and your experience with healing? Any trauma or anything like that? And how can you enlighten others out there to, get on the healing journey?
Right. So I like to just kind of give I'm gonna give a little backstory. So I like to say this. I always thought I didn't have a story because I came from a household that had two parents. My parents always provided things with me for me
Mhm.
when I asked for it. I may not have gotten it then, but I did eventually get it. So throughout my adulthood, I never thought, hey, I have a story. I have a story. But in actuality, I do have a story.
We all do.
We all do, yes. And, thinking back, you know, as being a child and just thinking about like, where did, my I thinking I had to be a people pleaser, or not having the confidence, or always feeling like I was judged. It was because I'm trying to give you the exact pinpoint of when it did. I can
Yeah.
tell you it really was like when I really in high school, like when it really started to set in, like and I don't necessarily say I want to be it was trauma, but in actuality, it is trauma. Um,
Hmm.
that I always felt that I wasn't smart enough. And that
Mm.
was because I have a learning disability. I have what's called auditory processing. So I process things very slowly and very differently than most people. And when
You
I
know
tell
what? I
what
had the same issue.
you do, yes. So
Wow, I had the same issue coming up. I yeah, I guess I basically my comprehension. I guess it
Mhm.
like I could like for example like I could read very well, But
Mhm.
then if the teacher asked me, okay, what did you get out of what you just read? It would like, I would go like blank. It was, I don't
Mhm.
know, but it was a disability. It was a learning
Yes.
disability that I could outgrow. And I
Mhm.
have outgrown it. I graduated college 2 years ago,
Mhm.
AB honor roll student.
Mhm.
I mean, it, you can outgrow it, but
Yes. I'm not gonna say I necessarily outgrew it, but I learned like what's the thing. I don't want to say coping method, but I found I have skills that I know how to help compensate for when I get to that point of like where I have to like ask questions,
mhm,
or just when I feel like it's creeping up on me. Um, so being in high school, being in elementary school, mostly high school, like it was it was traumatic because I don't yeah, it was traumatic that people would always, and not necessarily people, but just a particular person, I'm going to say that,
mhm.
would make fun of me because I had accommodations where I could leave out of the classroom, take tests outside of the classroom, get people to help, have a teacher help me with my stuff.
Mhm.
And it wasn't, before high school, it wasn't a problem. Everybody was okay. No one bothered me about it. But it was when I got to high school, that's when it really set in, and that's where it became very traumatic, and that's where the judgment started coming in, and just not believing in myself and not thinking I was smart enough because other people were telling me. Um,
Right, right.
but as I got older and realizing that I can do things. I'm smart. I can do things. I got my master's, and
Awesome.
that was the thing. It was like I have this learning disability, but I didn't let it stop me. If I,
Exactly.
right? And
Exactly.
if I really would have let all of that, what happened in high school, like if I really fed into that, I wouldn't be where I am today. Um, so that has been, I, I like to say that's my proudest accomplishment because, and it's helped me heal knowing that I can do these things. And that's why I always say the power is within us. It's just we have to pull it out.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. And that's very inspiring to me. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing that. Yeah,
Thank
because
you. Thank you.
it it took a lot to put this podcast together
Hmm.
because I have social anxiety.
Oh,
And
okay.
it took a lot of prayer to put this podcast together.
Hmm.
But as a child, I always loved radio. I always wanted to be like an interviewer, you know, or a
Hmm.
DJ or something like that. But where I grew up, unfortunately, it wasn't a whole lot of support and stuff like that. So as I grew up, I kind of lost touch with wanting to do radio and stuff like that. But when COVID hit, I said, you know what, it was still in me, and I believe God put it back on my spirit. He was like, hey, you got to do this. You got to reach out to people and give them tips on how to heal and hear different people's stories out there, and have them enlighten people as well on your podcast. So that's
Hmm.
where healing this power came from.
Well, that's good. Like that, I I have social anxiety, but I can see where that can cripple you from doing something. Doing
Yes.
interviewing and all that stuff. So kudos to you. Proud of you that you're able to
Thank
get over
you.
that fear and do this because there's people out here that need to hear these stories. So thank you for telling those
Absolutely.
stories.
I tell my guests, every single guest, I tell every one of them the same thing. Like, people really need to learn how to heal because a lot of killings would stop, a lot of suicide would stop, drug usage, alcohol, all this stuff would stop.
Hmm.
And, I really want to just see our community, all communities come together and heal and, vent and get stuff out.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that. I agree that we do need to heal. Like it's I say that now. Like I've noticed, like people are always so quick tempered. Like they don't ask
Yeah.
questions first. They always want to just go off.
React first.
Yes, they want to react first. You know, instead of trying to just figure out, okay, well, why did this happen? Why did this other person do this? Why does that? Why do they have to have those response? Why do they have to be so aggressive with it?
Yes.
This just ask a simple question, and I bet you it would all be resolved if they were healed. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what it really is. That's what it really boils down to is a bunch of built up anger, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, with us, a lot of us don't like to talk. We hold stuff in, and this is the outcome. Like you said, just quick tempered, nasty, rude. It's really sad.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, definitely, definitely. And that's what we, knowing in the world, and having this podcast, you having this podcast and letting other people hear these stories,
Yeah,
hopefully it reaches them. Yeah.
yeah, I'm praying so too. Yeah. Who did you growing up? Who did you look up to the most? Who inspired you the most?
Um, I will say my dad did. Um, and I say that because my dad he grew up with no parents. Well, he did have his parents, but they did die young.
Oh wow,
Um,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, you're good. And he didn't really have a stable home.
Mm,
Like he was in between, just everywhere, and he took that, and he when he got older, he made a decision to go into the military, Air Force. He
mm,
served 26 years, and the he put on, how do I say this? He earned the highest stripe that he could for an enlisted an enlisted somebody that was enlisted.
mhm.
Um, and knowing all the struggles that he had when he was a child, that he was able to not only have this awesome career, but have a family and take care of us with no problems. Like,
Right, right.
he didn't have that. What do I say? He didn't have those role models growing up,
Mhm.
like me and my sister did, like with him and my mom. So I always commend my dad, and I always looked up to him because he was able to make something out of nothing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that,
Not having that structure and stuff growing up himself, but then he grows up, makes a family, and he's able to say, "Hey, I'm going to better myself, and be better than what my upbringing was."
yes, yes, definitely, definitely.
Well, that's amazing.
Mhm.
That's really amazing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. He deserves all of it, all of the praise.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Hmm.
definitely. Um, so I know you said that I thought you had already started it, so forgive me, but you said that you were going to be starting a podcast called Black Women Do the Most. Can you kind of touch on that a little bit more?
Um, sure. It is. So I wanted to do that because, and my mom was one of the examples. Like, my mom is so involved in our community,
Mhm.
um, in the community well, my hometown. She's very involved there, and the things she does it selflessly. And she's another one growing up. Like, I saw it, and that's part of the reason why I am like I am today. Is like so selfless is because she was selfless.
Mhm.
Um,
So was my mother. My
right?
mother, she was, uh, she just had a heart of gold, and like all my friends that used to come to my house, they were just like, "Your mom's so sweet, so sweet." When she passed away, it's like everybody was just so devastated. Like she had a couple of friends, she would, feed people, and
Mm-hmm.
just that person.
And that's that you saying that's exactly what my mom does now. She's retired. Her and my dad are retired. And my
Hmm.
mom literally she'll cook on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hmm.
And she cooks because my grandmother lives down the street, but she wants to make sure my grandmother has something to eat. But not only that she does that, it's like the people in her neighborhood, they know to call her and say, "Hey, do you have a plate?" And she'll fix them a plate. Thanksgiving, we were not Thanksgiving, Christmas. Well, Thanksgiving and Christmas, like we were. She cooked. She made sure everybody that she feeds on a daily basis had a plate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and she's so involved in like just bettering the community, our hometown. She's part of. She sits on the Democratic party, something like there's two parties, and she makes sure like I always laugh at this, but she's like she rides around with voter registration cards in her car,
Oh
making
wow.
sure, yeah, making sure everybody, like she'll ask people, she's like, "Hey, are you registered to vote?" They all
Hmm.
know to come to her, like when around election time. Like she has a list of the people that need to the the people on the ballot. She has a list of the ones that need that people need to vote for. And people literally, I've been there several times where people have called her and they're like, "Hey, what's the numbers of the candidates we need to vote for?" And she'll just rattle it off because that's how much she cares for things like that. Like with the voter registration card, she rides around with them, but then she also goes and brings them to the courthouse. She makes sure that they get to the courthouse, because she really cares about her community. And this is just a few things that she's done. Like there's a lot of things she does.
Hmm.
So drawing for that from that inspiration, I was like, there's more women out there, more Black women out there that don't get recognized, and I've seen it in my
Yes.
own community. Like one example, one thing I want to one show I'm going to have is recognizing um, Black women who were in the military, not only were in the military but also like wives in the military, because those I feel are like the unsung heroes. Like nobody understands what a military wife goes through, having to move around, make sure that the kids are taken care of, while her partner, her husband, is away on like on TDYs, has to go on business trips. Um,
Hmm.
so that's one topic I want to cover. I'm gonna cover. And also recognizing those Black women that have been in the military, the struggles that they were put through while being in the military and being a Black woman. Um,
Hmm.
I'm going to have coaches on there talking about their story, and just in general, just any Black woman I feel that needs to be recognized will be on the show.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm seeing that. When did you say that would be out?
It'll be out at the end of the first quarter, in the first quarter, beginning of second quarter of the year. So hopefully at the end of March, beginning of April.
Okay. Okay. Well, I would love to be on your show.
I was going to ask you to be on my show, so don't worry, I will be asking. Yes.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Right now, is there anything that comes to your spirit that you would like to share with the listeners out there?
Um, I what's on my heart is that don't be yourself. Don't ever let someone make you shrink. I use that word because I know what it feels like to shrink myself.
Hmm.
And I don't want other women of color, Black women, whoever, women, don't shrink yourself. You have things to offer, and you can't let somebody overrun you, over talk you. Stand in your power.
Yes.
Even if they're not allowing you at the table, make your own table. I have had to make my own table, and
Me too.
I love it. Right? I love making my own table. I don't need a
Yeah.
seat at somebody else's table. I can make my own table.
Right, because when you make your own table, you can, be at peace. You
Yeah.
know your likes and your dislikes, and what you dislike, it doesn't have to sit with you.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. You don't, and I know it comes with age. I can say it comes
Yes.
with age, and I've noticed that with younger clients. Like I remember being in their shoes and feeling like they are, and I don't want other women to feel like that, have to feel like that because they don't have to. They can stand in their power and do whatever they feel they need to do or however they need to be. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. With your life coaching, where can the listeners find you? Do you have a website?
Yes, it is www.jawandmorriscoaching.com. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook under Jawand Morris Coaching, and that's spelled JAWANDMORRIS.
Awesome, awesome. Now, besides the podcast and your life coaching, is there anything else that you're working on that you'd like
Um,
listeners to know?
I am working on some workshops.
Okay.
So I will be um, posting those as soon as I finish creating those. So look out for that. I'll have everything on workshops from setting boundaries to building confidence and everything in between that. Another big one I'm looking forward to doing is making sure that women advocate for themselves. So it'll just be a variety of workshops. So be on the lookout for those.
Awesome, awesome. Is there anybody that you would like to give a shout out to right now?
Um, so I'm trying to think. I would like to give a shout out to my husband, Marvin Morris, and my family. I did talk about my mom and dad. So shout out to my mom and dad, Willie and Alfreda. And then um, to all my other family, my niece, my sister, and my great niece. So, hey, how y'all doing?
Well, again, Joanna, thank you so much for being on Healing is Power. You guys can find Healing is Power on the following platforms: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Also, I'm on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, Joanne, for being on here. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem.
Mhm.
Well, you guys take care, and I'll see you around. Thank you.